And that leads me to the best game of the 2022 season for the San Diego Padres. I think we all know what it is. Drum roll, please. It was NLDS Game 4, Padres and the Dodgers. The night Petco Park was the most alive probably ever. The night the Padres slayed the dragon. Jake Cronenworth, the hero. But let's start off first with Joe Musgrove. 6 innings, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts. So he pitches game 3 against the Mets, winner take all game. No one else I'd rather have on the mound. Then he's facing the Dodgers game 4. No one else I'd rather have on the mound. And he has a solid start. And then the bullpen, after Steven Wilson gave up a run, so the Padres have allowed 3 runs, and they were chasing, obviously, 3-0. Tim Hill, Robert Suarez, Josh Hader, they didn't allow any runs. That was obviously huge. Padres won by 2. Bottom 7, down 3-0. It was, there wasn't a whole lot of energy in the ballpark at that time, but it was kind of like NLCS Game 2. Like, why would there be a ton of energy, right? Because it looked like it was going to a Game 5. I remember the San Diego Wave had a playoff game that I was going to the next day, and I'm like, okay, can we please end this here? Because I don't want to have to be simultaneously paying attention to 2 San Diego playoff games at the same time. I don't want to go back to Dodger Stadium. Let's end it right here. Let's make this like the best night ever. And that's exactly what happened. It didn't look like it was going to happen, down 3-0. But 7th inning, Nola has the bouncer that wasn't fielded cleanly by Freeman. That scores a run. Kim obviously has the double down the left field line. I think it was Justin Turner. He was playing back and a little off the bag. Ended up helping the Padres, a bouncer down the left field line. Soto has the game-tying single to right. Comes up clutch. He came up clutch a couple times in the NLCS as well. That was huge. And obviously, he was big in the Wild Card Series Game 3, having a hit there, driving in a run down the left field line. I know that wasn't hit great, but this one was squared up. Single to right, ties the game. He's as pumped up as we've seen him in a Padres uniform. And then my man, Jake Cronenworth, steps up to the plate. And it's a moment that Padres fans should never forget. Single to center field. Jake rounds, goes to second base, and at the same time that he did it, it was like I knew what he was going to do. I gave a big fist pump, fist punch, air, punch in the air, whatever you want to call it. And he was doing that towards the dugout, and Petco Park was going insane. 5-3 lead. Dave Roberts didn't know what to do with himself, and the Dodgers were like, stunned pretty much probably because they had a 3-0 lead going into the inning, right? And, Profar is going nuts. All of Petco Park is going nuts. And obviously, as I mentioned, Hill and Suarez and Hader not allowing any runs after 3 runs were allowed by Musgrove and Wilson combined. And it wasn't bad by Musgrove. Like 2 runs, you'll take that against the Dodgers. That was huge. But what obviously, if you were there at Petco Park, and everyone listening or watching this probably wasn't all there. Some of you were, like I was. And I was blessed to be there. Very grateful of the situation that I am in. And I hope that everyone that was there was grateful that they got to be there as well. What we're going to remember is that 8th inning, I think, when it started pouring. No one left their seat. Well, they left the seat, but they were just standing at their seat. Everyone was standing in between innings. They were playing Blink-182, All the Small Things, and the whole stadium singing it. And that kind of became the song of the Padres, the rest of the postseason. I think they played it during the NLCS as well when the Padres made that comeback in Game 2. But that moment right there, it's like, man, that is what sports is all about. Like bringing joy to 40,000 people that are there together. Everyone's united. Obviously, this Padres organization's been through a lot of ups and downs, but to finally get that moment, and it was against the Dodgers. It wasn't in 2020 when there were no fans there. It was just, the players' families and all that. That would have been great too. But this was, probably more fulfilling, at home. You had Joe Musgrove on the team, right? The San Diego guy. And, the players' emotions after the game. And you don't see Jake Cronenworth show a lot of emotion, but he was pumped up. A lot of let's effing go. And Will, obviously, after the game, going into the bars and buying beers for everyone, taking a lot of pictures in there with the fans and really embracing the fans and the players. I wasn't there for this part, but I guess the players, they went around the field high-fiving the fans. It's a moment that San Diego's not going to forget, right? That has to be the number one game of 2022. How can it not be? What other game was better than NLDS Game 4? Sure, was the wild card game, Game 3, when the Padres won 6-0, was that cleaner, crisper? Sure. But to come back against the Dodgers down 3-0, score 5 runs in an inning, and that was like the knockout blow right there. And then Josh Hader in the 9th inning, I don't want to forget this, striking out Betts, Turner, and Freeman, all 3 of them. Those are 3 of the best hitters in baseball. And he said, no, you're taking a seat, you're taking a seat, and you're taking a seat. I mean, what a way to end it. And then Jesse's call, man, I wish Don and Mud were on the call. You know how Mud, he was crying in 2020 when the Padres made it to the postseason? I don't even imagine what Don and Mud, how that would have sounded if they were on the call on TV when that moment happened. And that sucks that they're not on the call, but I do appreciate, I understand it too, the TV rights and all that, but I do appreciate, and I'm grateful that Jesse and Tony got to be on the call, right? And Jesse's call was tremendous. Slay the Dragon. Gonna remember that. This series is over. That was great. So I could probably remember more stuff from the night and all that. In fact, I'll say this too. Going outside Petco, and walking to the trolley and just high-fiving random stranger Padres fans. Like, that's what sports is about. Just joy. I don't know who you are, but I'm going to high-five you because that was the best moment of our lives probably right there. Like, our best moment in a long time. That was the best Padres moment of my life for sure.